Hello everyone! So today we're finally going to be reading the Xeno-Hero Bnha xenomorph male listener up in here. A lot, and I mean a lot of people have been asking me to read the story, and can't say I blame you. It's a really good story. So to cut long story short, at the moment, we are currently in chapter 10. Well, we is going to go back a chapter for the purpose of thy recap. And luckily for mostly me, I cut it down. I guess if you can consider this recap rewriting cutting down, but it's okay. It'll make sense as I read. Anyways, getting into the recap of what I wrote. So basically, there's this battle that they had to do where it was pretend of heroes and villains. It was, I believe, a group of 3 each. Deku is the hero while Bakugo is the villain. We're going to focus on these two since they are the main ones involved in this chapter. And basically, we, the xenomorph, are not to interfere with their battle, even though Bakugo is clearly targeting Deku only when he is not supposed to. And basically try and destruct this... Excuse me, my English. And basically trying to distract us from the fight and stop us from interfering, All Might just lets us go outside and take a walk with Mina. While he was trying to keep his mind off the fight, all of a sudden there was a loud explosion that was heard. It was a ginormous boom type of explosion. And we quickly ran back to the camera room, which the rest of the students were, and All Might was at the same time, to watch the fight. And basically, longer story short, we ended up jumping into it and taking the hit for Deku, which was a ginormous explosion, which ended the fight and made Bakugo's team lose. When it was our turn to fight, we ended up choosing Bakugo and Iida, and an even longer story short, we ended up winning, almost killing Bakugo, but he's still alive. Iida, we just basically tied his ass up and hung him like a piñata. Don't believe me? Read it. And we just kind of left Iida alone and then went to go deal with Bakugo. Show him who is the one. Anyways, for warnings, getting into these chapters, there will be mentions of violence, trauma, deadly battles, close or to the brink of death, threats, torture mentioned, gunshots, and etc. But yeah, y'all have been warned. We is officially in chapter 10, Bakugo's start line. Why in POV? I was following the scent of the Izuku gave off to find where he currently was located. Most of the humans I passed either ignored me, looked at me weirdly, or tried to interact with me. But each time, I ignored them in favor of keeping my mind on fighting and protecting Izuku. Maybe I went too far in the training? But what was I supposed to... But I was supposed to be the villain, so my actions are justified, right? After my small internal debate, I finally came upon the room that my king was currently residing in. There was also another familiar scent coming from within that room that reminded me of gummies. I reached my hand out and opened the door, scanning the area as I walked in. Recovery girl. Oh, hello, Ian. How have you been? I closed the door before turning to my left, and there sat the old woman. The old human. To answer her question, I let out a small hiss before moving over to Izuku. He seemed to be doing all right. There was no visible injuries, so I think my healing ability helped. I got in the bed with him before curling up around him as he unconsciously grabbed my tail. This is nice. In a room with 2 of my most favorite humans. Recovery girl. I'm assuming that you're here to be with Midoriya. Well, don't worry, his condition is alright. He's just sleeping. She then got up and made her way over to the door, but not before placing some snacks on the table. Recovery girl. I'll be back soon. I left some treats on my desk in case you get hungry. With that, she left the room, as I looked at the treats on the desk. They were round and brown with small dark spots all over them, and they even smelt nice. Not wanting to get out of the bed, I reached over and managed to grab two of the nice-smelling treats. Perfect. One for Zuko and one for me. I ate one while I held the other one for Zuko to eat once he awakens. There was nothing to do now except remain vigilant for any potential threats. But the only thing that was happening was Izuku letting out small snores. What is there to do? I could go to sleep, but then Izuku may be attacked while I slumber. I could explore this room, but I might wake up Izuku if I move. So, staying here until something interesting happens, it is. And like the universe heard my call of relief from boredom, the old human came back. Recovery girl, I'm back. Sorry it took so long. Did Midoriya wake up at all? I shook my head as I looked at Izuku still sleeping on the bed. She moved over to her desk and noticed two missing treats. Recovery girl, how are the chocolate chip cookies? I freshly baked them this morning, so they should be nice to eat. I gave her a happy hiss as I went back to keeping an eye out for danger. I then picked up another familiar scent, which was All Might's, and by how close it was getting, I could tell he was coming here. I was right, as he opened the door, revealing in his small form. All Might, hello again, YN. I gave him a small nod, acknowledging his greeting. He then turned to the old human as she was now sitting on her chair. Recovery girl, the school year has just begun, and he's already been in here 3 times. Why didn't you stop him, All Might? All Might, I apologize, Recovery girl. Recovery girl, what are you apologizing to me for? On top of his total exhaustion, he was here just yesterday. Geez, I know he's your favorite, and that you passed your powers on to him, but that doesn't mean you should spoil him. That's the only thing we shall disagree on, old human. My king deserves to be spoiled, especially from the spoils of war. All right, there's nothing I can say to that, because I wanted to consider his feelings. I hesitated to stop the training match. Only fools hesitate, All Might. I remember a Yautja hesitated to strike me out of fear. He gave me the chance to counter and tear him apart. Now his remains are forever buried in shame. All Might, even so, will you please not talk about One for All so loudly? She merely turned her chair away from him as she answered. Recovery girl, yes, Mr. Natural-born hero, Mr. Symbol of Peace. All Might, my injury and this form of mine are common knowledge among the UA teachers and a certain group of pros, but my secret of my quirk, One for All, is only known to you, the principal, a close friend, YN, and young Midoriya. Recovery girl, I know it's not like you want the rest of your laurels at the top, but is being a natural-born hero or the symbol of peace really that important? All Might, if I no longer am, then the superhuman society will be seized by evil. This is the responsibility of those of us with this power. Recovery girl, if that's the case, then it's even more important for you to learn what it means to guide someone. My mother guided all of my siblings to greatness. We waged wars against so many creatures, and she was always there leading and guiding us. All Might, yes, ma'am. I was sitting on the bed with Izuku's head on my lap while I played with his hair bored. It was really soft and curly, almost like a bush. I then noticed him shift as he opened his eyes. He didn't seem to notice me as he looked up at the clock. Izuku, it's late afternoon? Recovery girl, are you awake? He was surprised as he then looked up to meet my eyes staring down at him. When? Are you alright, Izuku? Izuku, yeah, I'm fine. Did Recovery girl fix me? My body doesn't hurt anymore. In fact, it feels a lot better than before. Recovery girl, I didn't heal you. You just arrived to my office that way. Izuku, what? But then, when? I healed your body, but you still went unconscious. Izuku, how? I don't remember you being able to heal before. A look of realization came across his face before he gave me a stern look, making me slowly shrink back under his stern stare. Izuku, YN, did you do what I told you not to do? Lion, I'm sorry, my king, but some sacrifices must be made to ensure your safety. But don't worry, none of them were civilians or innocent. Izuku, them? Recovery girl, as much as I would like to know what's going on, both of you are late for your class. Izuku, we'll talk about this at home, YN. But for now, let's get to class. I just nodded, disappointed in myself for disobeying his order of killing humans once again. But this time, I promised him and myself that was the last time I would disobey that order. You got jokes, brother. You got jokes. I carried him on my back as I ran back to class 1A. It didn't take long for me to get us to the class, so Izuku got off my back and grabbed my leash as he opened the door. Oh, Midori and YN are here. All of the humans began to close in on us as I stood in front of Izuku and hissed menacingly. This caused them to stop, but Izuku gently tugged on my leash, making me sit back down. They lost their fear, but remained a fair distance away, which I appreciated. Good work, man. I didn't know what you were saying during the match, but you were fired up. I noticed the pink human to Izuku's left, but I didn't do anything since I trusted her a little. I can't believe you fought evenly with Bakugo, who was the first on the entrance exam. Mina, you guys did a good job. You did a good job dodging. You guys did that in the first match, so the rest of us had to give it our all too. You were far from elegant, but, Mina, you did a good job dodging. I'm starting to like the pink human more than the rest of them. Izuku, huh? My king was slightly blushing from the praising, which I slightly chuckled at. Kirishima. I'm Ijiro Kirishima. We're all going over the training together right now. Hanta. I'm Hanta Seto. I'm Yuga Iowa. I'm Mina Ashido. You guys did a great job dodging. Yes, he did. Suyu. I'm Suyu Aisui. You can call me Sue. Rikido. I'm Sato. Izuku. Mineral. I'm Mineta. On instinct, I slapped the small human away with my tail since he was too close. He hit the wall with a loud thud before falling to the ground. Everyone looked at me shocked as I stared at them, slightly getting annoyed. Tenya, I cannot condone actions that disrespect the desk great men and women who are upperclassmen once used. Him yelling took their attention off of me and now on him. The door to the class opened and entered a yellow-haired human and the kind human. Hey, Uraka, wanna grab a bite to eat sometime? What do you like? Ochako, Mochi, wait, Deku, you're back! Did she heal all your injuries? She came rushing up to us as I scanned the classroom, noticing something missing, or someone. The explosion human was gone, but his scent still lingered here. Knowing Izuku would want to know this, I tugged on my leash and making him stop speaking. Izuku, what's wrong, YN? I pointed to the explosion maker's empty desk, which made him catch on. He got on my back and whispered in my ear, Izuku, find him, quickly. I nodded at his order as I ran down the building following the explosion human's scent. With my speed, we found him walking towards the entrance of UA. Izuku, Kachan! I ran up to the human as Izuku tried to get his attention. Izuku, Kachan! He finally turned around, but his expression put me on edge. Katsuki, what? Izuku, there's one thing I feel like I have to tell you. My quirk is something I received from someone else. Katsuki, huh? Izuku, I can't say who I got it from, though. I won't say. But it's like a story of out of those comic books, except it's true. On top of that, I still can't control it properly. It was just a borrowed power that I haven't made my own yet. That's why I tried to beat you without using it. But in the end, I couldn't win and had to rely on it. I still got a long way to go. That's why. He was getting angrier and angry with each word my king says. Izuku, that's why one day I will make this quirk my own and beat you with my own power. You just increased his rage exponentially, my king. Katsuki, what the hell is that? Borrowed power? You're talking nonsense. What are you trying to do? Make me To be out more of a fool than you already have, huh? What are you trying to say? Today I lost not only to you, but your damn pet too. Yep, you lost horribly, and I enjoyed tossing you into a wall each time you got up. It's really calming. Katsuki. That's all it was. That's all. As I watched the ice guy, I thought, I can't beat him. Damn it. I ended up agreeing to what that ponytail girl said. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Hey, you too, Deku. He raised his head up, surprisingly showing tears in his eyes. You gain only some sympathy from me, Katsuki. Mostly because I've never seen you cry before. Katsuki, I'm just getting started, you hear? Here, I will become number one. He then glared hard at Izuku, but when his eyes met mine, his glare intensified. I just sent him an uncharacteristically kind smile, which caught him off guard as his eyes slightly widened. He then turned around and began to walk to the exit once more, rubbing the tears out of his eyes while he walked. Katsuki, you won't beat me again, bastards. My king exhaled deeply, seemingly losing all his confidence as he clung to my back. All Might's scent just appeared, and it was approaching rapidly, so I quickly moved. All Might, there he is, young Bakugo. Just so you know, pride is important. You definitely have the abilities needed to become a pro. He does? All Might, you still have a lot of... Katsuki, let go of me. All Might, I can't walk. I'll become a hero that even surpasses even you without you telling me. All Might, right. He then began to walk away, this time unimpeded. The bomb's fuse has been lit. We need to be aware of the explosion. Oh my, young Midoriya. What were you talking about with young Bakugo? Izuku, we were, oh my, I'm so curious. Why don't you tell me in detail? Izuku, actually, why run home? I hissed as I charged back home at full speed, leaving All Might standing there confused. I was in Izuku's room, sitting on the floor with my head down as he scolded me for killing. Izuku, I told you before, Ryan, you can't kill people. Killing is wrong, so please stop, or else. He stopped and put a thinking face on before he got an idea. Izuku, or else no treats for 2 months. I gasped and looked up at him in shock. His stern look faltered before hardening once more. I then used my most dangerous attack. Puppy eyes. His look faltered even more as he looked into my eyes. Izuku, stop that, or you won't be allowed to sleep in my bed anymore. My puppy eyes intensified as I made small tears appear in my eyes. This was his breaking point as he hugged me before apologizing for being mean. I felt slightly bad for using my puppy eyes attack, but he threatened my treats and snuggles. That's valid. Chapter 11. Yeah, do your best. Just do your best, Iida. And this is from the author. Before we start, I have some news. Whether it's good, bad, or good is up to you. This has changed from having Ashido as the main love interest to now being a harem story. That's it. You may continue reading now. This was a love interest? What? Damn. Anyways, YN POV. I was walking to the school with Izuku on my back, telling me about some hero stuff he liked, which I listened to intently. The walk was nice and uneventful until we got to the entrance of UA. Outside was a crowd of humans with cameras and one female human at the front. I was already put on edge by the size of the crowd. But it's when they spotted us that I almost attacked. Izuku, remember, Ryan? Stay calm and walk past them. There's no need for a confrontation. I gave a slight nod as he rubbed my hair to keep me calm. We were about to walk past them and through the gate when the female got in front of us. Reporter, hey, you too! She shoved the object in her hand in front of my face, making me growl. Reporter, how are All Might's classes? The humans began to encircle us, which prompted me to shoot acid above us. They all quickly ran several feet as to not be met with a painful and deadly fate. Acid, a gray substance that melts away all of your problems. I continued to walk into the building as Izuku told me to be careful not to actually hit anybody with my acid. Of course, I noticed the strange blue-haired human staring intently at me. For some reason, he reminded me of the human with hands covering his body. I wonder why. We were currently in the classroom listening to Aizawa speak to us. I was laying by Izuku's feet playing with his shoelaces, bored. Aizawa, good work on yesterday's combat training. I saw the video and results. Bakugo, you're talented, so don't act like a kid. Katsuki, I know. Aizawa, and Midoriya? I pricked up interested after hearing the last name of my king being called. Aizawa, you settled it by breaking your arm and having Ryan save you again, huh? You can't keep saying you can't help it because you can't control your quirk. I can sense Izuku's uneasiness, and since I can't physically hurt emotions, I did the next best thing. I laid my head on his lap before purring, which caused him to rub my head with a small smile. Aizawa, I don't like saying the same thing over and over. As long as you fix the control issue, there's a lot that you'll be able to do. He got even happier after hearing him say that. Aizawa, feel a sense of urgency, Midoriya. Izuku, yes, sir. Aizawa, now, let's get down to the homeroom business. Sorry about the late notice, but today, I'll have you. Everyone tensed up as I could hear the fear begin to engulf the entire room. Or C. Aizawa, decide on a class representative. The fear quickly left as happiness and even more excitement replaced it. But screaming also ensued that made me cover my ears. Ichiro, I want to be the class rep. Pick me. Dinky, me too. I want to do it too. Yuga, it's a job that's made for me. Mina, I'll be the leader. My ears began to ring as I growled, making Izuku's legs slightly shake. Minoru, my manifesto is for all girl skirts to be 30 centimeters above the knee. Katsuki, let me do it. Me. That's the amount of noise. That's it. The amount of noise began to hurt my ears. I would have done something if Iida hadn't made them stop, so I was thankful for that. Tenya, silence, please. Silence returned once more as everyone looked at Iida. I removed my head from Izuku's lap as I laid on the ground, relaxing. Tenya, it is a job with serious responsibility of leading others. It is not a job for just anyone who wants to do it. It is a calling that requires the trust of those around you. If we want to use democracy to decide on a true leader, then we should hold an election to choose one. An election? That's not how my mother got to be the queen of her hive. Denki, why did you suggest that? Suyu, we haven't known each other for that long, so how can we have trust or anything? I had over hundreds of siblings, and I don't think I've even met all of them. But regardless, they were the ones I went to battle with for the hive. So I had to trust them, and they had to trust me. Ichiro, if that's the case, and everyone votes for themselves, Tenya, don't you think that is precisely why whoever receives multiple votes here can truly be considered the most suitable person? What do you think, Mr. Aizawa? He was currently in his comfy yellow shell, which I had to remember to steal one day. Aizawa, I don't care, as long as you decide before homeroom is over. Tenya, thank you very much. The results are in, and the leader by 4 votes is Izuku. I did a small dance for his victory and in becoming the king of these humans. Small dance. My king is the best king, and the only king to rule over these creatures. A few of the female humans giggled as I didn't notice them since I was busy dancing. Mina, that's so adorable. Ochako, shh, don't let him hear us. Also, could you send me the video at the end of class? Mina, definitely. The second human who got the most votes by 2 was a female human called Momo Yairozu. Izuku, I got 4 votes? Yes, you did. I would have continued my dance if the explosion human hadn't yelled. Katsuki, why Deku? I know this damn thing voted for him. He pointed at me with aggression clear in his eyes as I growled while brandishing my tail at him. Katsuki, but who else voted for him? Hanta, well, it's better than voting for you. Katsuki, what did you say? I noticed Iida having a life crisis, but I merely went back to dancing as Aizawa rised up in his yellow shell. Still in his yellow shell. Izuku and Momo both went up to the front to stand before the humans. Aizawa, then. The class rep is Midoriya, and the deputy class rep will be Yaoyorozu. Izuku, seriously? Seriously? Momo, how vexing. Hey, don't insult your new leader on his first day. Suyu, that might not be too bad. Ijiro, after all said and done, Midoriya can be pretty fired up anyway. Yes, he's conquered the class now onto the school, then the town, then the city, and finally the world. We were now in the cafeteria with me devouring the plate Izuku set for me while the rest of them ate slower. Ochako, the rice is so delicious. Izuku, even though I've been chosen as class rep, I don't know if I'm qualified for it. Ryan, cheer up, Izuku. That was the easiest battle I've ever seen. Izuku, what do you mean by that? Ryan, before my mother could become queen, she had to fight and kill her sisters the second she was born. It was a brutal fight from what she told me. Izuku, what? Ryan, you're right. I'm exaggerating it. It wasn't a fight. My mother slaughtered them the second she was born. She was a scary queen, but a loving mother. He gave me a mixed expression from the last thing I said to him. He seemed shocked that she killed her sisters, but had slight fondness in his eyes after hearing that she was a good mother. Izuku, where's your mother now? I'd like to meet her someday. I physically flinched at that question because, 1, they're all dead, and 2, I know my family will kill him on sight. No, absolutely not. I love my mother and my family, I really do, but they'll use him as a host for the face huggers. When I looked into his eyes, I saw hope and excitement as he waited for my answer. When I was thankfully cut off by an alarm echoing throughout the entire building as everyone was now panicking. Izuku, an alarm? Alarm. There has been a level 3 security breach. Random what? Alarm. All students, please evacuate outdoors promptly. Iida then turned and spoke with the human to his right as I got up and stretched. Tenya, what's level 3 security? Random. It means someone is trespassing on school grounds. I've never seen anything like this in the 3 years I've been here. You should hurry too. The humans are in panic, leaving their food unguarded. Which means more for me. I then began to run around, eating all of the good uneaten food as everyone else ran out. I managed to devour all the food except Izuku's, Iida's, and Uraka's in a record time. Wow, I cleared out the entire cafeteria in about 30 seconds. You know, sometimes I even impress myself. Now time to find Izuku and his allies. I exited the cafeteria with relative ease thanks to my size and strength. I scanned the area while walking through the crowd, and I saw Iida, Uraka, and Izuku being swept away in the crowd. Izuku, Ryan, please help us. Heeding his call for help, I pushed aside many humans, successfully getting to and rescuing Izuku. I sat him on my shoulders to avoid being trampled by the panicking crowd. These humans will end up killing each other before the enemy could. Izuku, Ryan, could you save Uraka and Iida too? I think they got pushed further down by the crowd. I merely nodded before walking down the hallway, much easier than the humans trying to shove past each other. Ochako, guys, I'm over here. I looked to my right to see the kind human being pushed around and the fast human pressed against the window. But not too far away, I could see the same group of humans and the entrance currently harassing Aizawa and the loud human. So that's why the alarms went off, but how did they get inside? Not really caring how or why, I went over to save the kind human from being hurt any more than she already was. I reached my hand out and plucked her out of the crowd before holding her in my arms while I went for Iida. Ochako, thanks, Ryan. I nuzzled her head with mine before I used my tail to lift Iida up, since I was holding Uraka in my arms. Tenya, thank you, Ryan. I know how to calm the other students down. Could you please get me somewhere where I can get their attention? Well, he said please, so why not? I jumped to the other end of the hall successfully, sticking to the wall above the door. I used the claws on my feet to keep me anchored to it. The impact made the wall crack and caused some of the humans to stop as I held Iida up with my tail. Tenya, Everyone, everything's fine. It is just the media. There is nothing to panic about. The humans stopped and began to listen to Iida while I held Izuku and Araka close so they wouldn't fall. Tenya, everything's alright. This is UA. Let us act in a way benefiting the best of the best. With the humans now calm, I pulled my feet back, allowing me to land on the ground as pieces of the wall fell. Hopefully I won't get in trouble for that. I was on the ceiling watching Izuku as he was about to address his subjects. Momo, come on, class rep, start. Izuku, now let us decide on the other class officers. But first, can I say something? You're the leader, Izuku. You don't ask for permission, you give the permission. Izuku, I think that Tenya Iida should be the class rep after all. That shocked me so bad that I fell from the ceiling and landing on the floor so hard that I broke it. This man is so dramatic. Mita rubbed my head to soothe any pain that I might be feeling as Suyu asked if I was alright, since I landed next to their desks. Izuku, I think it would be best for Iida to do it. Yujiro, I'm good about that too. Midoriya saying it, and it's true that Iida was the biggest help at the cafeteria today. Aizawa then rose up with an annoyed look on his face. Aizawa, you're wasting time. I don't care what you do. Just hurry up and do it. He lay back down as I climbed back up onto the ceiling. Tenya, if the class rep has nominated me, then that cannot be helped. From this day forth, I, Tenya Iida, promise to do my best to carry out the duties of class representative. No, I'll never allow you to order me or Izuku around. Yujiro, we're counting on you. Emergency exit. Momo, what about me? Nothing. Your position is secure as the second. Aizawa, for today's hero basic training, it's turned into a class with 3 instructors. All Might, me, and one more person. Hanta, excuse me, what will we be doing? He pulled out a card with the word rescue written on it. Aizawa, disasters, shipwrecks, and everything in between. It's rescue training. I'm not that great at rescuing, but I excel in demolishing all enemies. Denki, rescue. Looks like that'll be a lot of work this time, too. Mina, right? Yujiro, idiot. This is the duty of being a hero. My arms are ready to rumble. Suyu, no one can beat me in water, Ribbit. I've only had to battle in the water a few times. It wasn't fun, but I won. Aizawa, hey, I'm not done. You can decide if you want to wear your costume or not this time, because there probably are costumes that limit your abilities too. The training will take place off campus, so we're taking the bus. That is all. Start getting ready. I remembered when the Yautja will always come back to denote their fallen brother's gear. We exploited this, which allowed us to kill several of them until they caught on. To me, heroes are the same. The villains exploit the presence of civilians the same way we did. Iida blew a whistle loudly, which I did not appreciate in the slightest. Tenya, Class 1A, gather around. Form 2 lines by your student numbers in order to make the boarding the bus go smoothly. He kept blowing his whistle, which I promptly took and crushed in my hand as I passed him to enter the bus. Once everyone was inside, Iida realized the bus wasn't like how he thought it was. I was hanging upside down while Izuku, Araka, Suyu, and Mina took turns tossing snacks up to me. Tenya, shoot. I didn't think it'd be this type of bus. Mina, there was no point, huh? She tossed another snack at me, which I caught and ate before she handed the bag to Izuku so he could toss one too. Suyu, I say, whatever comes to mind, Midoriya. Izuku, yes, Asui? Suyu, call me Sue. Izuku, right. Suyu, your quirk is like All Might. Everyone then turned their head to Izuku, which made him tense up before he turned to me with pleading eyes. I already knew what he wanted, so as to divert the attention from him, I missed the next snack thrown at me, making it bounce off my nose. I hissed loudly to ensure their attention was on me, which worked. Ashido giggled before grabbing a new snack from the bag and tossing it up to me, which I caught. My little outburst successfully took the attention away from Izuku, so I dropped down from the roof, now lying on the floor. Idro, nice catch, YN. I hissed appreciatively as I curled myself up like a cat with my tail around me like a blanket. The female humans awed as I felt someone rub my head while I tried to nap. By the scent and familiar touch, I could tell it was Ashido, so I stayed still, allowing her to pet me. The gentle rocking of the bus and soothing head pats would have lulled me to sleep, but a certain yellow-haired bomb exploded. Katsuki, what the hell, you want to fight? I raised my head and hissed at him, annoyed that he had the audacity to yell while I tried to slumber. So you see, Denki, we haven't known each other for that long, so it's amazing everyone already knows his personality is crap steeped in sewage. Katsuki, what's with that vocabulary, bastard? I'll kill you. He began to yell out more threats, which made me give up on sleeping, so I just moved to lay by Izuku's feet. Aizawa, we're here. Stop messing around. Everyone, yes, sir. We were now all standing in front of a human in what appeared to be a spacesuit. I only encountered humans a few times back home, and their suits looked much different. Everyone, I've been waiting for you. Izuku, it's the space hero, 13, the gentlemanly hero who has rescued tons of people from disasters. Ochako, oh, I love 13. I can't see this human's face. Is it even a human? 13, let's go inside without delay. Oh, looking forward to be working with you. With Izuku holding onto my leash, we all walked inside to see various locations. 13, a shipwreck, a landslide, a fire, a windstorm, etc., etc. It is a training ground that I made with different types of accidents and disasters. It's called the Unforeseen Simulation Joint, or USG for short. Aizawa, 13, where's All Might? He was supposed to meet us here. They began to whisper, but since my hearing was much superior to that of a human's, I could hear them clearly. 13, about that. It looked like he did too much hero work today on his way to work and ran out of time, so he's resting in the lounge. Aizawa, that's the height of irrationality. It can't be helped. Shall we begin? 13, let's see. Before we begin, let me say one thing. Or two. Or three. Or 4, 5, 6, 7. Everyone, I am sure you are aware of my quirk, black hole. I can suck up anything and turn it to dust. A black hole. Not even me or my siblings could survive that. Izuku, you've been able to use that quirk to save people's lives from all kinds of disasters, right? 13, yes, but it is a power that can easily kill. Everyone immediately went quiet when he said that, as I just sat there extremely bored. 13, as some of you already have quirks like that, right? In a superhuman society, personal quirks have been certified and strictly regulated. So that doesn't seem to be a problem at first glance. However, please do not forget that there are many quirks that can easily kill with one wrong step. With Aizawa's physical fitness test, you found out the possibility of your own hidden powers. And with All Might's person-to-person combat training, I think you experienced the danger of using those powers against others. This class is a fresh start. You shall learn how to use your quirks to save people's lives. You do not have powers, so you can harm others. The whole point of my birth, for me, is for me to harm others. I help my hive by killing the enemy before they have a chance to attack. So I'm sorry, Izuku, but I don't think I'm going to be cut out to be a hero. 13. I hope you leave here with the understanding that you have powers in order to help others. That is all. Thank you for listening. Everyone began to clap and cheer for 13 as I observed our surroundings. Aizawa, all right then. First, before he could finish, the lights went off as I began to sense a new presence. I was right, as a portal opened up, revealing the blue-haired human with hands from earlier. He looked the same as the human form from the memories I stole. What did those two say he was? I think they called him Boss. Whatever. He's about to be cut into pieces soon enough. To alert everyone else to the danger, I got up and let out a loud hiss, which caused everyone's attention to be on me. Katsuki, what's wrong with your pet, Deku? Izuku, I don't know what's wrong, YN. I gestured over to the known humans, and when Aizawa saw them, he gave them a glare. Aizawa, gather together and don't move. 13, protect the students. I began to prepare myself for combat in case they got too close. Ijiro, what's that? The portal opened even larger as more unknown humans came out. Even with their superior numbers, I still feel I can still slaughter them. Ijiro, is this like the entrance exam where the lessons already started? Aizawa, don't move. Those are villains. He then put on his goggles as another villain stepped out of the portal, except this time it didn't look human. This creature was as tall and as dark as me, with its brain exposed. It seemed pants was the only clothes it has on. It seemed to be staring right at me, which I responded with a glare. This thing isn't human, is it? Or at least not anymore. Either way, I'll slaughter it. But whether we're on the same level of strength has yet to be determined. Which may be one difficult battle, but I shall prevail for Zuku, my king. Chapter 12. Encounter with the Unknown. YN POV. I hissed as more villains came out of the portal. Izuku held on tighter onto my leash as he leaned in and whispered in my ear. Izuku, I know what I'm about to ask you is a huge task, but can you protect and care for the others too? Care and protect the other humans? That is going to be a difficult order to carry out, but if that is your command, then I shall do it. I nodded at him as he gave me a grateful smile. As our trespassing the other day was the work of these scumbags after all, huh? The numerous villains began to walk towards us, but I wasn't worried about them. The ones I was worried about was the one with the hands. The tall, dark one beside him, and the dark, misty one. Ijiro, what? Villains? No way! There's no way they could get into a hero school. Nowhere is safe. Your enemies will always find a way to break into your fortress. Momo, teacher, what about the trespasser sensors? 13, we have them, of course, but... Shoto, did they only appear here? Or around the whole school? They don't nearly have enough forces to take out an entire school full of heroes. Besides, most of these villains don't seem that experienced in true combat. Shoto, either way, if the sensors are not responding, that means they have someone with a quirk that can do that. An isolated area separated from the main campus during a time when class is supposed to be here. They might be fools, but they are not dumb. This surprise attack was carefully planned with some sort of goal in mind. Aizawa, 13, start the evacuation. Try calling the school. These villains had something to counteract the sensors. It's possible someone with radio wave type powers is interfering. Kaminari, you try contacting the school with your quirk too. Thank you. Yes, sir. Izuku, what about you, sir? Will you fight by yourself? With that many? Even if you can erase their quirks. Eraserhead's fighting style is capturing after erasing the enemy's quirk. Our frontal battle is... YN, I can fight with you if you wish. Aizawa, you can't fight a hero with just one trick. You can't be a hero with just one trick. And no, YN, you stay here and protect everyone else. I'm leaving it to you, 13. He then jumped down from the fray onto the fray as the villains stopped to deal with him. He seemed to excel in hand-to-hand combat as he was able to dodge and counteract with ease. I then noticed everyone else running towards the exit, so I tugged on my leash, but Izuku wasn't moving. Izuku, wow. Mr. Aizawa's actually good at fighting by himself against a lot of people, huh? I tugged a little bit more harder as Iida noticed we weren't moving. Tenya, this is no time for analysis. Hurry up and take shelter. Izuku, come on, YN. I wrapped my tail around him before running to catch up with the rest of the humans. But while I was running, a thought came to me. YN, can I kill them? The question made my king tense up and hold on to me tighter. Izuku, what? YN, you said to protect the others, right? Izuku, yeah, what about it? YN, well, the only way I can protect them is by eliminating the threat. I'm made to defend by killing the enemy before they can reach the rest. Do I have your permission to kill them? He looked deep in thought as he stared at my back as I slowed down to a jog. Not long after, he let out a sigh before coming down to a decision. Izuku, all right, you have my permission to kill them if they try to hurt anyone. I nodded before picking up speed since we were slightly behind the class. But a portal opened up in front of us, which caused everyone to stop. Out came the dark, misty one, so I lowered Izuku off of my back in case I had to battle him. I then began to slowly make my way to the front of the class to protect them as Izuku ordered. The misty dark one then began to address everyone as I got closer. Nice to meet you. We are the League of Villains. It may be presumptuous of us, but we have invited ourselves into the home of the heroes, UA High School, in order to have All Might, the symbol of peace, take his last breath. As I was making my way to the front, I noticed Uraka shaking. I then remembered Izuku's orders of caring for the humans as well. How to calm down a human. Hugs seemed to help Izuku, while head pats and treats helped me. So maybe a combination of the three should have triple the effect. Because who doesn't like a snack while being hugged and petted with affection? I made my way over to her as I began to gently pat her head, as I gave her one of the treats I had in my pocket. She then stopped shaking and leaned into my hand before giving me a small smile. But I could still see some fear in her eyes as I gave her a gentle hug before moving on. I believe All Might should have been here. Has there been some kind of change? The enemy has not only breached our defenses, but also gained intelligence on us. We still remain in the dark about them, so this battle may not be in our favor. Well, that is, by this point, I was clearly now in his view as I stood out amongst the rest of the humans. He looked at my appearance closely as his eyes landed on my collar and leash before he spoke once more. You have a class pet. It looks very unique. We have a unique pet too, and I believe he'll love to have a new friend to play with. I growled at him as his mist began to slowly expand around us. 13 was about to use her quirk until Akatsuki and Kirishima launched themselves at the villain. The angry human made an explosion, causing a huge smoke ring to form and blind us. Ijiro, did you consider that you'd get beaten by us before you do that? You do it? Excuse me. The smoke slowly cleared as it revealed the villain who wasn't even fazed by the attack. Oh dear, that's dangerous. That's right. Even if you are students, you are excellent golden eggs. 13. No! Move away, you two. My job is to scatter you all, and to torture you to death. His mist began to spread more rapidly around us, and since I couldn't find something I can't grab, I quickly picked up the two of the humans and jumped out of the mist. I landed next to Iida, where I placed the two humans I grabbed safely on the ground. Turns out, I grabbed Ashido and Uraka, who looked slightly frightened by the villain. To calm them, I wrapped them in a warm embrace while using my tail to pat their heads. It seemed to work, as I could only sense a small amount of fear from them. I then gave them a most comforting smile I could muster, which I'm sure didn't feel comforting at all. But they seemed to find it funny at least, as they chuckled at the face I was making. I turned back to where we once were to get Izuku, only to see a huge dome of darkness. I couldn't see or smell Izuku anymore, which caused me to slightly panic inside. My king isn't here, and his scent disappeared from the area. Wait. His scent is now in the direction of the water, along with Suyu and the small humans. I'm going to have to go get them after ensuring the humans are safe and well. The dome disappeared as I turned to my right to see the human with multiple limbs grow eyes and mouths from his hands. Tenya, Shoji, is everyone here? Can you check? Mizo, everyone's scattered, but they're still all in this building. This makes Izuku's order harder to follow, but there's nothing I can do about that. 13. Class rep. Tenya, yes. 13. I entrust this duty to you. Run to the school and tell them what is happening here. The alarms are not sounding, and our phones don't have signal. The alarm system is based on infrared rays. Even though Eraserhead is erasing people's quirks left and right, they are still not working, which means they must have someone with an interference quirk who hid right when they arrived. The dark mist human reshaped himself into a human-like form. I scanned his body for any signs of weakness or flaws in his defense, but all I could see was a faint outline of a body and something metal wrapped around his neck. No visible signs of any weak points. I'm guessing I'm going to have to either strike somewhere around the middle or the metal itself. Tenya, it would be a disgrace as a class rep to leave everyone behind, and there is no shame in getting reinforcements. It ensures you don't suffer a defeat and more casualties than you already have. Ridiko, go! Emergency exit. If you can get outside, there are alarms. That's why you guys are doing this inside, right? Hanta, as long as you go outside, they won't follow you. Blow away this fog with your legs. 13. Use your quirk in order to save others. The human with multiple limbs walked past him to stand with the other two as I moved up as well. Ochako, I can totally support you like I did in the cafeteria. I will. Please, class rep. Iida then put a full face of determination as they got into a running position. Even if you have no other choice, are there really idiots who talk about their plans in front of their enemy? He made the first strike as he launched his mist at us. 13. We did it, because it doesn't matter if we're found out. We did? We did. As the mist was getting closer, 13 raised her finger and began to suck up the mist. 13. Black hole. I could hear a loud explosion go off in the water area, and the only person I know capable of that is Zuko. My king is engaged in battle. He's more than likely just ended with that attack. Regardless, I need to either root this enemy or kill him, and fast. Mina, teacher, huh? I turned to the battle only to see 13 fall to the ground with her back completely destroyed. Rikido, Iida, run! The fast human then rapidly ran past the villain while screaming. Damn it! His movement and scream caught his attention as he opened a portal in front of Iida, but before he touched it, the multiple-limbed human hugged it, getting it out of his way. I can't tend to the wooden just yet. I must first eliminate the threat. I got on all fours and ran after the villain, who began to chase Iida himself. His mist began to loom over him, but just as I got close enough to see the metal around his neck clearly. This is a good time to test if that's a weak spot. Just as the mist was about to touch Iida, I pounced on the mist man, driving him to the ground. I pinned him down as I believed to be his shoulder as I latched my mouth onto the metal. Get off of me, mutt. As I began to maul his neck, causing him to scream in pain. The metal began to bend and break under my teeth as I began to stab randomly into the mist-covered body with my tail. I missed most of the time, but the ones that landed caused him more pain as blood began to smear at the end of my tail. I'll just let the Nomu deal with you. He then opened a portal under us, causing me to fall right through with him, and one thought on my mind. Who's Nomu? I landed in some water, and when I opened my eyes, all I saw was the ruins of a ship. I swam to the surface to get a better look at the destruction. Is this where my king fought? He really is becoming more powerful, and soon he won't need me. But what would I do then? Izuku is the only reason I have purpose now after the destruction of my hive. So what do I do when he decides he doesn't want me anymore? As I was having a mental breakdown, the scent of my king snapped me out of it. I began to follow the scent while swimming through the water quickly. In a few seconds, I could see Izuku, Tsuyu, and the small human together looking at something. Not wanting to disturb, I silently swam up to them, behind them, gazing at what they were watching. Man, it's game over this time. Let's go home. What? No attacker ever leaves without taking something, whether it be lives of their enemies or their pride. They always take something. Besides, they already invested so many forces into this, so it will be a costly defeat. No, Minoru, right? They're going home? Did it say they're going home? Tsuyu, that's what I heard. The small human began to cry as he latched onto Tsuyu, initiating a hug. Minoru, alright, we're safe. His hand placement was weird, as he wasn't giving Tsuyu a hug I was familiar to. His hand was on her chest instead of around her shoulder or on her back. Is that a different variation of a hug? Why didn't Izuku tell me about that? I'll need to ask someone about that hug later. Tsuyu, yes, but... She had a small blush on her cheeks as her eyes somehow turned white. Within a second, she was drowning the small human by holding his head underwater. Should I help him? Izuku said protect and care for others, but Sue isn't an enemy, so it's okay. Tsuyu, I have a bad feeling about this, Midoriya. Izuku, yeah. For them to simply retreat after doing all this? I hissed in agreement, getting their attention as they slightly jumped by my sudden appearance. Izuku, Wyan, how did you get here? I gestured over to the misty man as I began to speak to him. Wyan, I wrote the enemy, but he took me with him. I landed in the water where I followed your scent that led me here. He looked at me in awe of fighting and winning against the enemy by myself. I looked at Tsuyu, since she was quiet, only to see me staring at her. To be specific, my chest and abs. Is this a form of communication? Do I do the same? Not knowing what to do, I pat her head, which snapped her out of her trance, which caused her to blush more intensely. I reached into my pocket to give her a snack when I felt nothing but mush. What? I took out the mush, which turned out to be the remains of my uneaten delicious snacks. I began to slightly shake as the three of them looked at me in worry. Izuku, What's the matter, YN? I shakily lifted my hands at him when he saw them. A look of realization suddenly hit him. I began to slightly tear up as I gazed at my fallen treats. Izuku, I'm so sorry, YN, but don't worry, we'll get you more snacks. Suyu, here. She took out a small bag which had frog designs all over it. She opened it up, which caused a delicious smelling scent to fill my senses, as she then took out the source of the smell. It was shaped like a frog's head and didn't seem to break in the water. Suyu, these are some cookies I made. They're perfect if you're hungry and at some place with water. She tossed one in my mouth, and then I ate it. And when I ate it, I thought it was the best snack in the world. I swiftly hugged her as I proclaimed my love for the snacks in my head. Thank you, Suyu. Your snacks are the best I ever tasted. Even better than those cat treats I had. If I protect you, will you make me more of these heavenly treats? Izuku, YN, get down. We might be spotted if we're too loud. Alright, I forgot we're in the middle of a battle. I placed Suyu back down as I took one more snack. She was very flustered but quickly composed herself enough to reduce the intensity of her blush. I looked back towards the villains, now focused as my stomach was satisfied by the treats. Oh yeah, before we leave, let's smash some of his pride as the symbol of peace. He then appeared in front of Suyu with his hand extended. Not knowing his attack, I just opted for holding Suyu close to me while extending my arm in front of us as a shield. Everyone looked at me with worry/fear as he grabbed my arm. But nothing happened as Suyu held onto my arm I was holding with her more tightly. Damn it, you are really cool. I looked a little behind him to see Aizawa staring at me with red eyes. I only realized how badly he was hurt. Eraserhead. The giant creature slammed his head into the ground just as Izuku leaped at the human in front of us. Izuku, let go of him, smash! My king smashed his fist, not into the human, but the dark creature. The cloud of smoke allowing me to move Suyu and the small human to safety before I went to Izuku's side. I was behind him, and as the smoke cleared, it showed me staring at the creature in the eyes as it was looking at its master. You move well. Your smash. Are you a follower of All Might? Oh well, I'm done with you. The creature moved its eyes from its master to my king. It went to grab his arm, but I grabbed his wrist and dug my claws into his flesh. It turned its eyes to meet mine. As our masters looked on, we growled at each other. YN, you order my king? What he said next excited me enough to speak. Izuku, kill it. I had a vicious smile on my face, revealing my many sharp teeth. YN, as you command. I punched the creature with my right hand, tearing a piece of his flesh off as he was launched back. Nomu, kill this thing. So you're Nomu. Nomu rised up, and I noticed the missing piece of flesh on his arm was back. And I noticed, you can break bones like sticks and repair even the most fatal of injuries, huh? This shall be only between me and you, Nomu. Let's put up a good show for our masters, alright? Chapter 13. YN versus Nomu. YN POV. Everyone stopped and watched as we both began to walk towards each other. His eyes remained looking into mine, and I couldn't see any emotions behind those dead eyes, just blind loyalty. We looked at each other, eager to follow through with our master's orders on killing the other. You weren't born this way, were you? The humans created you for the sole purpose of combat, didn't they? Let's see which of us prevails in this fight between two creatures, both made solely for battle. As I finished that thought, the Nomu charged at me with some impressive speed and his fist raised. Once he got close, he tried to punch me, but I merely ducked under the strike and sank my right claws deep into his side. Some blood began to come out as I twisted my hand, causing the wound to get bigger. Before I could follow up with another attack, he grabbed my arm and proceeded to pull my claws out of his side. But before he pulled my hand, I hooked my claws into his flesh, causing a huge chunk to be ripped out. He roared before lifting me up by the arm and slamming me on my back on the ground. What are you mad at me because I made you pull out your own flesh? Apparently, he was as he began to stomp his foot on my chest, sending me deeper and deeper into the ground with each stomp. Through the sound of the ground being broken with my body, I could hear Izuku yell, Izuku, YN! Izuku hasn't left the battlefield yet? Well, I guess I gotta get him out of here myself. As Nomu was about to stomp me again, I grabbed his leg and sliced it clean off with a powerful swipe from my claws. He toppled over as I pulled myself out of the me-shaped hole, slightly damaged. I quickly scanned the battlefield and saw Zuko still by the water, now joined by the small human and Tsuyu. Aizawa was on the ground, badly wounded and surrounded by enemies. To buy myself some time, I sliced the Nomu's other leg off before running to Aizawa. Is he dead? I don't think so. Hey, what is that? Before the villains could finish his sentence, I slammed my fist into his face, launching him a long distance away. The other two were confused before they turned in my direction. I gave them both a small wave before grabbing their faces and slamming them both into the ground. The smarter villain backed up, not wanting to fight, while the naive ones stepped up to follow me. Knowing Nomu wouldn't stay down for long, I sprayed acid into the air, causing them to scatter. With the little time I had left, I wrapped my tail around Aizawa and ran towards Izuku. When I arrived, Izuku immediately hugged me along with Tsuyu, while the small human watched the Nomu in fear. I wrapped my arms around them, both returning the embrace. Izuku pulled away, and so did Tsuyu, but she avoided eye contact with me with blush on her face. Izuku, Wyan, are you alright? Wyan, yes, I'm having so much fun. Nomu reminds me of all my other siblings that challenged me to a fight. Izuku, oh, you like play fighting? I tilted my head confused on those words. Play fighting. Wyan, what's that? Our battles always ended up with one of us dead or maimed. He just looked at me, apparently shocked by my answer. I glanced behind me at Nomu, only seeing that his legs were almost completely done healing. I picked up and cradled both Izuku and Tsuyu in my arms as I used the point of my tail to lift the small human by his diaper. I jumped a fair distance away from the battle just in time too, as Nomu's legs were now fully healed. As I landed, I gently placed them both down before handing over Aizawa and the small human. Izuku, be careful, Wyan, alright? And don't do anything too reckless. I nodded and gave him a quick hug before hugging Tsuyu and the unconscious Aizawa. Tsuyu, good luck, Wyan. We'll be cheering for you. She wrapped her arms around me tightly before pulling away and giving me one of the snacks she made. Not wanting to keep Nomu waiting, I quickly ate the snack before running back to deal with him. As I was running, I couldn't help but think of the two extremely important things. What will Inko make for dinner? Maybe if I finish off this creature quickly, Izuku will praise me and feed me more snacks. Now determined to win, I ran faster, going on all fours to increase my speed. In only a few seconds, I made it back to the Nomu, who had another emotion in his eyes. Anger. He buried his fist in the ground before pulling out two huge pieces of concrete. Not really caring, I continued to run straight at him with the sole intent on killing him. He threw one of the huge pieces at me, but I easily dodged to the side. He then threw another one, and right before I could dodge it, another searing pain went through my right knee, causing me to roar in pain. The chitin of my knee broke into pieces, and some of my blood went flying out of it. I didn't have time to register what happened as the other concrete piece directly hit me, causing me to stagger as I refused to fall. Another shot pierced my knee, causing me to fall on my hands and knees. The two loud bangs, followed by somewhat similar penetrating my chitin plating. I didn't think they would have brought guns with them. The mist man moved closer, observing me as I waited for my knees to heal. Are you surprised? Don't worry, your death will... The human with many hands cut him off as he slightly scratched his neck. No, don't kill it. But we could use it. It's as strong, if not stronger, than Nomu. All we have to do is teach it obedience. Besides, a pet like this could suit us nicely. Nomu, bring it with us. Hurt it a little if it resists. The rest of you help Nomu in capturing it. Obeying, Nomu and the remaining villains begin to walk towards me in order to capture me. Subjugation. I will never become someone else's prisoner. You'll have to drag my lifeless body back to your base if you expect me to serve. Feeling anger from the mere thought of turning into one of their mindless soldiers, I shakily rose up. The gun user took another shot, but I dodged to the side, avoiding the bullet, making it break the ground behind me. I slightly staggered as my knees hadn't healed from the bullets yet. Resistant until the very end, huh? You'll make a fine addition to our league. I hissed at them in defiance as my knees finally healed, allowing me to move again without any problems. Nomu went to grab me, but I ducked under his arms and slashed his side, making blood coat my claws. Red is a nice color, don't you think? Activating my fire quirk, my claws turned bright red, evaporating the blood off my claws as they began to take on the surrounding villains. My claws allowing to cut through them with ease as my quirk filled the air with the smell of burning flesh. As many began to run away while some foolishly stayed to fight. However, my slaughter party was cut short when Nomu wrapped his arms around me, trapping me in his arms to my sides in the process. Non-consensual hug. Activate. Escape Plan C. I bit into his arm, stabbing his stomach with my tail, causing more of his blood to spill. His hold on me loosened enough for me to slither out of his arms and onto his back, where I proceeded to slam his head into the ground. As I looked, I noticed the rest of the villains are either dead, wounded, or retreating. The battle is in my favor. Nomu pulled his head out of the ground before slamming his fist into me, breaking some of my chitin plates. I slightly staggered back before I hissed and charged at him. He raised his arms in defense as I began to slash at him, cutting off a lot of his flesh, which had difficulty regenerating due to my still active quirk. He quickly threw a punch trying to do an offense, but I merely powered through the strikes in favor by continuing the onslaught of attacks. He soon gave up defense and instead grabbed my arms and slammed me to the ground. Before I could get up, he began to punch where my elbows were breaking the chitin, right? Chitin? I keep saying it so wrong. There, while still holding my arms. But each strike, my chitin began to repair and become stronger to the point where I didn't feel pain. I used my tail to stab him in the stomach, but this time I threw him a few feet away. As I got back up, he recovered from being tossed and charged at me with his hand ready to stab me. I dodged his strike, but he was prepared this time. As a second last, he stopped himself and launched himself onto me. He then pierced my skin with his hand and delivered a bite to my shoulder while holding me in place. I grinned at him as I grabbed his arm and head and pushed him further into my wounds. My blood soon came into contact with him as he roared in pain and trying to loosen his paws and jaws up from the acid. I let him go, making him fall back as his hands were now just a stump and his jaw gone. But his hand and mouth didn't come back as they stayed gone, which seemed to have shocked the Nomu and two villains. I slowly approached him as my wounds rapidly fixed themselves and became stronger. Wan, this is where you and I differ, Nomu. While you get hurt and just regenerate, I get hurt and become even stronger. His eyes showed fear as I stabbed my tail into his leg and slowly pulled him closer to me. He tried to crawl away, but he was weakened by now since he couldn't go anywhere. I proceeded to headbutt his exposed brain, killing him, but as I did, something hit me in the head. Izuku POV. A few minutes earlier. We were now carrying Mr. Aizawa after YN left to go fight the Nomu and the rest of the villains. I knew YN is capable of taking care of himself, but I couldn't help but worry about him. Minoru. Man, YN is so cool. Where did you meet him, Midoriya? Suyu. I would also like to know if you don't mind. Izuku. Oh, I met him in an alleyway. They seemed slightly shocked but too interested in the story to interrupt, so I continued. Izuku. He was much smaller than he is now, about the size of a puppy. I had a snack with me, so I fed it to him and he immediately took a liking to me. Suyu. Does YN attack anything? Now I think about it, he only really attacks anything that harms me physically or emotionally. Izuku. He only attacks things that hurt me in any way, but to others, he'll just appear threatening to just protect me. Suyu. So he's like a protective guard dog. Numerous. Will he let me ride on his back? Izuku. I guess he kind of is. I mean, he likes head pats and snacks, and no, I don't think he'll even let you touch him. A loud bang cut our conversation short that was soon followed by what sounded like wine roaring in pain. Izuku. A gunshot? Suyu. Was that roar from YN? Izuku. I'm afraid so. Another shot rang out, cutting me off, but this time no roar followed. Izuku. I see you. Asui. See you. What is it, Midoriya? Izuku. Trade places with me carrying Mr. Aizawa. See you. Ribbit? Okay, but why? I didn't answer as I began to run back to where YN was fighting, but as I got closer, fear began to consume my thoughts. Why can't I hear him anymore? He's probably done fighting, right? He's already probably just got tired. YN was above the Nomu, and he finished him off with a head bite. But what I saw next shattered my heart and broke my mind. Another shot, and YN fell onto his back, unmoving as I stopped in pure shock of what I had to witness. Izuku. YN? My best friend didn't respond and stayed motionless with his eyes closed. The blue-haired villain then turned to the one who shot and placed his left hand on him. You idiot! I said capture, not kill. I didn't see the result of what he did as I just stayed motionless looking at my end. My one true friend to the end was dead right before my eyes. I could feel my eyes water as tears began to pour out of my eyes. But this time, Ryan wasn't here to make me feel better. Damn it! Whatever. This can still work. Kuguro, make sure to take the body with us. Kuguro, of course. That snapped me out of my shock as I finally looked away from Ryan's body. No, I can't let them take him. With determination to at least protect Ryan's body from being taken, I ran towards him. But the mist villain got in the way. Just as I was about to touch him, he was slammed to the ground. Ryan POV. I slightly opened my eyes to see the villain whose name I now know as Kurogiri in front of his Izuku. So I swiftly rose up and grabbed his neck before slamming him to the ground. Izuku looked at me with tears streaming out of his green eyes. I picked up the Mistman and tossed him at the feet of the other human before I went over and hugged Izuku. He immediately latched onto me and began to cry his eyes out as I rubbed his head and back. Who knew that creature held so many memories that it made me pass out? Shigaraki, this thing just impresses me more and more, but... Sensing danger, I immediately moved Izuku behind me and raised my arm to shield us just in time as Shigaraki grabbed my forearm. Shigaraki, this is revenge for Nomu. My arm began to rot and decay as the chin fell off and began to slowly spread up my arm. This pain was like none I have ever experienced, which caused me to roar loudly in extreme pain. Izuku, Ryan! To prevent my death, I sliced my arm off, making my blood spray everywhere. Shigaraki quickly backed up as I used this to my advantage by shaking it at them, sending my acidic blood everywhere around them. The mist guy got in front of him and opened a portal, transporting my blood to somewhere else. My arm grew back quickly thanks to the quirks I took from Nomu. I noticed that my severed arm was now reduced to nothing more, making me glad I cut it off before I spread it. It spread through the rest of me. I looked back up and noticed a human with many hands scratching his neck furiously. Shigaraki, damn it! All Might didn't even show up and Nomu got killed by that thing. Damn it! He then stopped before extending his hand out towards me, which made me slightly back up, still holding on tight to Izuku. Shigaraki, you'll be a nice replacement for Nomu. He then looked at Izuku, who was clutching onto my back as I stood in front of him ready to fight. Shigaraki, but I guess I have to kill your current master to make you obey. He then lunged forward, outstretching his hand outstretched to touch Izuku, but before I could react, a bullet pierced his hand. Finally, reinforcements. I can go and finish my snacks now. God damn, that was... Ooh! Oh, damn. When I tell you I was not planning on reading this much, god damn, whoopsie, I couldn't stop myself. Whew. That was just, I gotta read that, like, whew, crazy. So first of all, before I get this completely over with, I am so sorry for if I mispronounced a lot of names, because I probably have, and I do apologize for that. I'm not really good with names. If you guys been here long enough, y'all know I'm not really good with names. I fuck up names and I slur names sometimes. So if I really messed up a name, please don't come attacking me for it. Sometimes I even forget both languages I do know, which is Spanish and English, and sometimes I mix them together, or it just makes the gibberish no sense. So I do apologize for that. Anywho, who do you guys think shot the bullet this time? Please let me know in the comments down below. If you guys want a hint, watch the anime, because I've watched the anime. I haven't really watched continuing watching it because of personal preferences, but it's not the worst anime I've seen. So, yeah, just watch it. Or just read the manga. if you prefer to read manga instead. But yeah, hopefully the people who have commented about me updating the story have been pleased, and I hope you guys do enjoy this video. And like are pleased that I finally updated the story. The story is amazing and I love it, and there's going to be just as many cool scenes like this one. Still very upset it was discontinued though. Anywho, to cut this short, and because I got to go sadly, guys, I hope you did enjoy this video though. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more amazing videos, guys. And if y'all have any like story suggestions or any theories on what you think might happen or how, if any relationships will progress. But yeah, guys, hopefully I will see this video soon. Love you guys, care about you guys, appreciate your supporting comments. And your girl sadly gotta go, guys. I shall see you on the next video. Bye and peace, y'all.